Hey everybody, it's Jenny Civy. In last week's video on static regain, I mentioned inlet pressure of the VAV box, but I don't think I've ever described the pressures across a VAV box, so I thought I'd do that today. So let's talk about VAV box pressures. Let's get started. When you select a VAV box, there are a few different pressure terms you'll need to know. So let's start by drawing a VAV box with some ductwork and a diffuser. To select the appropriate size VAV box at the airflow and sound performance you want, you basically need to know the pressure coming into the box and the pressure left when the airflow leaves the box. This is because you need to have enough pressure to get the air into the box, through the ductwork, and out the diffusers. Starting at the inlet, you'll need to know the primary inlet static pressure. 1.0 inches is a good starting point. Next, you'll need to know the downstream static pressure. That's the pressure loss through the ductwork in the diffuser or grill after the VAV box. AHRI 880 says to use 0.25 inches for manufacturer catalog data, and that's a pretty good typical pressure to use for selection as well. Let's make a little bit of room. The next pressure you'll see is minimum delta P. This is the pressure loss across the VAV box with the damper wide open. So for this box, let's say the minimum delta P is 0.02 inches. That means you need enough inlet pressure to cover the 0.25 inches downstream plus the 0.02 inch minimum delta P. So for a single duct box, the minimum delta P is usually pretty small, like 0.01 to maybe 0.06 inches typically. So you most likely have enough inlet pressure, but if you have hot water coils, it can be much higher. Water coils can add 0.2 to 0.3 inches of pressure drop. So let's say now our minimum pressure across the box with water coil is 0.3 inches, and you have 0.25 downstream. Now you need to have enough inlet pressure to cover 0.55 inches of pressure drop. And if you only had half an inch on the inlet, you wouldn't have any air left at your diffuser. Let's make a little bit of room. You may also see delta P instead of inlet static pressure. This is telling you the pressure drop across the VAV box at your operating condition, and it's important when you look at sound data. For instance, if you have 1 inch inlet pressure and 0.25 inches downstream, then your delta P is 0.75. This means at your operating point, your damper will be closed to a position to provide the designed airflow that puts the pressure drop across the VAV box at 0.75 inches. Usually you'll see catalog data at a ½ inch delta P, 1 inch, 1.5, and 2 inches. And you'll see the sound of the unit get louder as the delta P increases because the damper is closing off more with each increase. In these cases, if you have 0.25 downstream, these delta Ps represent 0.25 inches at the inlet, 0.75, 1.25, and 1.75 inches of inlet pressure. You won't see these points in selection software because it's generating the sound data at your specific design point, so you'll just see your actual delta P. So those are the different pressure data points that you'll see for VAV boxes. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.